Human rights, they shape our world, define our values, and are treated as absolute truths. But what if they're not? What if they're nothing more than illusions we tell ourselves to keep the cycle going? Today, Priyansh and I are breaking down the lie of human rights, exposing the contradictions, and asking the one question no one dares to. If human rights were real, wouldn't we have them by now? Priyansh, are human rights even real? Or are they just something we made up to make ourselves feel better?
Okay, let's look at what human rights are in the first place. So, human rights will be the right to free expression, freedom of speech. Human rights will be the right to live. They will be the right to not be slaved, and they will also be the right to work. Am I correct in that?
That's the general idea. Yeah. Freedom of speech, right to life, no slavery, and right to work. These are considered the core human rights. But here's a question. Who decides these rights? Are they something that naturally belong to us just because we're human? Or do they only exist because governments and societies choose to recognize them?
I mean, they are hypocritical in the first place because, again, why are they called human rights? Why are animals and other forms of life not granted those rights? But let's assume, from a human superiority point of view, that let's say human beings do deserve those rights, right? So it is something that is going to be implemented across different countries. And there are then contradictions, like there are war-torn countries in which human right to life is not happening. There are multiple places where slavery is happening and human rights are not being what do you call respected. There are other places where people are completely unemployed, so their right to work is not completely respected. And multiple countries, I cannot express how multiple these countries are, where there is no freedom of speech. If you say the wrong thing, the government can bash you, punish you. I'm looking at you, India, and completely put you in jail for saying whatever the fuck. So all of these places, there are definitely exceptions. So at the very least, human rights are not respected in multiple countries.
Exactly. Human rights aren't universal, they're selective. Governments decide when and where they apply. They'll preach freedom of speech until you say something that threatens their power. They'll defend the right to life while waging wars. They'll champion anti slavery while letting corporations exploit sweatshop labor. So, if human rights aren't actually respected everywhere, then maybe they were never meant to be. Maybe they're just a tool, used when convenient, ignored when inconvenient.
Hold on, let's not jump to conclusions. If there are places that these rights are not respected, there must definitely be also places where all of these rights are respected. Can you name out of 190 plus countries any country in which all four of these rights are respected?
That's the problem. There isn't one. Even the so called free countries have censorship laws that restrict speech, capital punishment that contradicts the right to life, prison labor that borders on slavery, and unemployment that denies the right to work. So if no country fully respects all human rights, are they even real? Or are they just an illusion we tell ourselves to feel civilized?
Alright, let's assume these rights are aspirational, right? So these are things that we should aspire towards, we should try and implement. Even though they are not implemented anywhere, we can still want to have to implement all of these four things. Seems completely reasonable. Let's take a hypothetical situation in which all four of these rights are then implemented. A country in which every one of these four rights are implemented. If freedom of speech is completely present there, so if I were to shout at an old lady loud enough for her to get a stroke or maybe even get a heart attack, that will also come under freedom of speech. And then if I get jailed for basically murdering someone, then that actually restricts my freedom of life, or maybe it will restrict the freedom of not being slaved. And if I instead get capital punishment, that again restricts the freedom of life for me. So even in such a scenario, all four of these rights cannot actually coexist.
Exactly. The moment you try to implement all four rights at once, they collapse in on each other. You can't have absolute free speech without harming someone's right to life. You can't have total freedom from slavery while forcing criminals into prison labor. Ha! You can't have a guaranteed right to work without forcing businesses to hire people they don't need. Even in the most perfect hypothetical society, human rights contradict themselves. So should they even be aspirational? Or are we chasing an impossible dream?
All right, let's. So they don't actually exist completely in all countries. They don't even exist in any country. They are not even hypothetically possible. But they must serve some purpose. So if we go even a step beyond, so they are not aspirational to exist, but rather as ideals, as perfect structures, like perfect spheres and perfect rectangles. They are there to show an ideal to work towards. So if they are there as aspirational, as endless infinite goals, if a society works towards them, the general idea would be that having them as ideals to work towards, the society will eventually always get better and better. And since we can never completely reach them, it will be an endless process of society getting better and better. Does that make sense?
It does, but here's the problem. Who decides what better means? If human rights are just an infinite treadmill that societies run on forever, someone is steering that treadmill. Someone is deciding which rights matter more, which contradictions to ignore, and what progress even looks like. And guess who that is? The people in power. So maybe human rights were never meant to be fully implemented. Maybe they were never meant to be achievable at all. Maybe they are just a tool, not to protect people, but to control them.
I mean, it's kind of like the economy. Even if you don't go into that dark conspiratorial way of thinking, it's like kind of like the economy, right? The more I produce, the more I consume, the more system flows in the system, and more people get employment at the end of the day, and more people are able to feed their families, and it's a snowballing effect. And that will go the same with human rights also. As we progress, we're able to bring forward more and more marginalized community and issues that are not being addressed under human rights, and get more people more rights. Maybe that was the general idea when human rights was formed, and perhaps that is what the progressive movement, when it comes to the liberal movement, so called, maybe that is what they are trying to do. Essentially, that is the fight. Progressives are fighting in order to improve situations as they understand it, while on the other hand, conservatives are people who don't want to improve situations anymore because they feel like we already have improved situations, and trying to improve them more will give people in power more power to act upon them. And that is the major cultural divide that we are facing, and all thanks to human rights.
Yeah, that's a solid way to put it. Human rights function like an economy, an infinite loop of expansion, correction, and reinvention. The progressive movement pushes the cycle forward, constantly adding new rights to the framework, while conservatives try to hold the line and keep things from spiraling into chaos. It's a perpetual tug of war. But here's the real question. What happens when the system gets too bloated? What happens when rights stop being about fundamental freedoms and start becoming about comfort, convenience, and even entitlement? Because at some point, we stopped fighting for basic survival and started fighting for things like the right to not be offended. So maybe the biggest flaw in human rights isn't that they're a lie or a conspiracy. Maybe it's just that they have no natural stopping point.
What happens is what is happening right now, because this went on for too far, because we did not stop. Now people are pushing back, and that is why that is why globally, politically speaking, right wing people are taking over, right wing ideals are taking over. Hell, Putin is attacking Ukraine. Trump has basically won the election also, and is now on a rampage, putting tariffs on people. In India, Modi won the election in 2014, and it has never changed. And everything what is resulting it is in a global right wing takeover. And what happens then is we slowly start to strip away all the extra rights, and in doing so, we end up removing a lot of human rights from a lot of groups of people, until oligarchs are the ones controlling everything, and then there is a war, and once that war is done, we go back to try and achieve human rights again. It's a cyclical loop that we've been trapped in. This happened during World War II, and it is happening again, and perhaps there will be a World War III.
Yeah, it's a cycle that never actually ends. The pendulum swings too far in one direction. Too much expansion, too much idealism. And then the pushback begins. The rise of the right wing across the world isn't some isolated phenomenon. It's just the corrective measure of the cycle. And because people never stop at balance, they always push too far in the opposite direction. That's when the system collapses, power consolidates, and the oligarchs step in to reset the board. And the thing is, war isn't a possibility, it's an inevitability. It's the only way the cycle resets. Too much freedom breeds chaos, too much control breeds rebellion. The war cleanses the slate, the cycle restarts, and we begin the whole process again. So maybe the real question isn't about human rights at all. Maybe the real question is, can the cycle be broken? Or is humanity just doomed to repeat this loop forever?
Maybe it can be broken, maybe it can't be broken, but the point is we're still stuck in the cycle. And as things look right now, every attempt to break it is basically reinforcing it more and more. People tried to break it, and that is the reason we are here in 2025, where people are fighting over trans issues, people are fighting global wars, and things are happening. Why? Because people were getting wanted a right not to be offended. So this is something. The process of trying to stop it is what reinforces it. This loop, this cycle.
Exactly. The more you push against the cycle, the deeper you fall into it. People think they're changing things, that they're making a difference, but all they're really doing is accelerating the next stage of the loop. The moment you say, we need to fix this, you've already lost. Because fixing it means triggering the next inevitable backlash. So maybe the real red pill isn't that human rights are a lie. Maybe it's that there's no escaping the cycle. The game has always been rigged, and the only winning move is to stop playing.
Yup. And therefore, human rights are alive. Everything is.
So, in the end, maybe the most profound truth is accepting that we're trapped in this loop and understanding that at some point it's not about winning or escaping. It's about seeing the game for what it is and deciding whether we want to keep playing. But hey, that's just another pattern. And as we know, patterns are everywhere.